Hey guys, it's me Seren, back with another car video. So when I did my live stream, not last week but the one the week before, it was on personality versus politics, and a lot of you guys wanted sort of a secondary video on that, like a follow-up video. And the reason why I kind of like struggled with doing it, because I kind of felt like we sort of discussed everything that kind of needed to be discussed during our Thursday live stream. And you guys know I like the Thursday live streams because it's more of like an open conversation type of format. But I wanted to film this video in my car because I was just listening to the radio. I listen to NPR, so a lot of people have asked, like, what do I normally listen to? I listen to NPR. So most of the time when I say, like, oh, I was listening to the radio and I heard somebody say this or that, it's normally NPR. If you don't get if you can't pick up NPR, or if you don't know what station it is, they also have an app where you can listen to their like, I guess, podcasts, or their programs, their programming. You can like listen to it through the app. There's like a lot of different ways. You can also they have like transcribed, like transcriptions of all of their programs. So sometimes I like read on the website. I don't even like listen to it. I just like read the programs because I prefer that sometimes. But I was listening to the radio, and they have this like, they were talking about obviously the election, because Super Tuesday is next week. I'm gonna try and get this video up before Super Tuesday actually occurs, before we actually have a new president. We'll see how that goes. I don't know how that's gonna go, obviously, but before the Super Tuesday, before the election actually occurs, I'll try to get this video up before then. But one of the things they were talking about was this idea that they want things to go back to normal. Anytime I hear somebody say this, I just want to fucking be like, we're never going back to normal. Like, we are never going back to normal. One of the person on the program I was listening to was talking about how they feel like, they were like 60 to 70 million Americans are going to vote for Trump. Like, period. He was like, 60 to 70 million Americans are going to vote for Trump. So he's like, I find it really sad and quote unquote divisive that our politics have sort of broken down to the level of, almost like a good versus evil, like a good versus evil type of rhetoric, like based on what side you're on. So if you're a fucking, pro-life Catholic, there's literally rhetoric of like, Joe Biden is evil, and even before Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton is evil, like she's literally Satan, like these people are literally Satan. But then if you're on like the other side, it's like Trump is evil, like Trump is Satan, like, Joe Biden has been utilizing this rhetoric of like, we're in a battle for the heart and soul of America, or, like the heart and soul of Americans, like very sort of religious adjacent. And I think Joe Biden is a Catholic too, or something like that. I don't really know, but I know he's like either a Catholic or a Christian, like he's one of those. And so this like very much like setting it up as like good and evil, heart and soul of our nation type shit. And the person on the radio was talking about, like, I wish that we didn't talk about it in terms of like good and evil, and, like 60 to 70 million of your fellow neighbors in the United States, or your friends, or the people you work with, etc., are gonna vote for Donald Trump, even if you don't know. And he was like, do you really believe that like all those people are evil? And he was like, and vice versa, for the people that are Trump supporters, do you really genuinely believe that all those people that are gonna vote for Joe Biden are evil? He was like, I can't wait for this election to be over for us, so that we can go back to normal and like not talk about it. This is actually the point that I wanted to get at. Number one, what the fuck is normal? Quote unquote. Like, normal in the United States is not talking about the fucking problem. Going back to fucking day one, like going back to literally day one, the fucking genocide against the indigenous Americans and fucking American chattel slavery. And then everything that came after that. Like, we don't even teach in 2020, we still don't even teach the truth to children. Like, we are about to be in November. So like, we are about to be in like that fake ass holiday. I don't even like to say the name of it because it's bullshit. I call it folks giving, like, because it's faux, it's fake, it's a fake holiday, like it's literally fake. Like, oh, we have to fucking give thanks because the fucking pilgrims came and the fucking Indians, obviously I know that's an offensive term, I'm saying that on purpose, you know, like, oh, and they helped the motherfucking pilgrims and they sat down and broke bread together, everything was wonderful. That's fake. Like, that's not what happened. And we literally have a fake made up fucking holiday. It's propaganda, it's manifest destiny, American exceptionalism, imperialism, white supremacy, colonization, glorification, all that shit. So going back to day one in our country, the heart and soul of our country is rotten. The heart and soul of our country is racism. The heart and soul of our country is anti-blackness. The heart and soul of our country is the concept of white supremacy. This is what the heart and soul of our country is. So to hear all this chatter and all this conversation of like, we're gonna go back to normal, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, and then we're gonna go back to normal. Like, number one, it's a lot of us out here that we don't want to go back to normal. We don't want to go back to normal. We don't want to go back to the lies and the bullshit and the racism and the propaganda and the police and the policing and the fact that we live in a police state and the fucking policing of black bodies and the killing of fucking black bodies and the treatment of black Americans and all of that. We don't want to go back to normal where all that shit is swept up under the rug and everybody fucking walk around with a smile on their face like that shit's not fucking happening. Number one, a lot of us don't want to go back to that. That's not a version of reality or normalcy that we want to even motherfucking return to, because is fake. What we talked about during live streams before, like, it's really hard to even think of the United States as a union, because like, what even is a union? Like, what even is our union? Our demographics are so split, our values are so split. You know, if a person is in fact a devout Catholic that genuinely truly believes that you have a soul at conception and that you're, you know, destroying somebody's soul when you have an abortion, they believe that's evil. That's what they really, like, that's what they believe. Like, that's what they believe. You're not gonna fucking change their minds. Like, you're not gonna fucking stop them from that belief. Like, that's really what they fucking believe. And so, you know, I feel like Americans really need to fucking get a fucking grip. Like, come to grips and come to terms with the fact that we are, in fact, a motherfucking nation divided, that we've been a nation divided since day one. As the dude Richard Kreitner talks about in his book, Break It Up, which is about secession in the United States, where since the beginning, we've been a nation divided. And what we've done is we've sort of held onto this illusion of a union through fake-ass compromises that usually rested on the disenfranchisement of Black Americans and Indigenous Americans in the United States. Like, that's what pretty much every union compromise, you know, going back to the 3/5 compromise, which is why we even have the Electoral College, because they're trying to figure out, you know, how are we going to have a quote unquote fair vote when in the South 40% of the population is these motherfucking niggers. Like, how are we going to do that? Like, so we have a fucking racist ass compromise, and then we had a fucking fight. We had the Civil War. And you have motherfuckers that was like, nah, like, okay, you want to free them niggas, but them niggas really still can't be equal. Okay. So we'll have Jim Crow. We'll have segregation. Like, so y'all will shut the fuck up. We'll compensate the slave owners. Slave owners were compensated for their lost property. Were we, the slaves, compensated? Hell motherfucking no. We still want our reparations to this day. Like, all of these concessions and compromises historically in the United States that have allowed us to even be a union have always rested on the back of the system of white supremacy, have always rested on the back of colonization, have always rested on the back of anti-black racism, have always rested on the back of all these isms and ways to subjugate other people at the hands of our white supremacist, capitalist, colonizer, police state. That is the heart and soul of America. So all this talk about the heart and soul of America and wanting to go back to normal is insane to me. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Like, people really think like we're going back. Number one, we're never going to go back to the way that things were before. We're never going back. Too many people are awake now, I feel, which is good, which is a good thing, because when I started this channel 6 years ago, people was looking at me like I was fucking crazy with all the stuff that I was saying. And now a lot of the things that I've said back then about not being respectable, about, you know, not wanting to appeal to white people, about not getting on my knees and begging some white people for something, about, you know, fighting back, pushing back against the fucking police state. All these things are now, you know, sort of popular and and cool to say and trendy to say, which is wild because people really was trying to come for me 5-6 years ago for the things that I was saying, you know, saying that Black Americans are our own ethnicity and that we need our respect from throughout the diaspora, as well as from white people, as well as from, you know, persons of color, that we're not going to be the motherfucking whipping post anymore, you know, things that now people are feeling more comfortable having the conversation. We're not going to go back. We're not going to go back. There's no going back to normal. And I don't even think there should be. And you have this, it seems like a lot of people that just, they really have their hands up praying that we're going to go back to normal. And there's no normal. There's also no normal when we, you know, throw COVID into the equation as well. There's no motherfucking DeLorean time machine that we're going to hop in and we're going to go back to, you know, how things used to be. Because even under the way that things used to be, Black Americans were floundering. We were floundering under racism. We were floundering under racist policies. We were floundering under racist infrastructure. We are still owed reparations. We're still being treated, you know, a certain type of way in school, funneled into the school to prison pipeline. We're still living in segregated red line housing. You know, we're like, there's still, and people just want, when people say they want things to go back to normal, they mean they want it to go back to where niggas took all the hits and everybody got to just go about their business and not feel scared or upset the way that we feel every day. And there's a lot of us that don't want to go back to that. We're not going back to that. We're never going back to that, ever. Regardless of who wins on Tuesday. Because the whole system is a piece of shit. Like, y'all know how I feel. Like, I'm against the whole system, bipartisan system. I think we need to dismantle the whole system and start over with a autocracy where any elected officials are rotated in at random, ordinary citizens picked out of a pool. No more political parties, no more bipartisan politics. And we should just vote on the issues via motherfucking app on the screen or something, you know, popular vote. That's how I feel about what we need to do in general, off topic. But it's just really interesting to me, the idea of personality versus politics, and the idea how we have so much like we have such an emotional response wrapped up in politics now, to the, you know, to the point of like, people are good, people are evil, the soul of the country is rotten, has been rotten, is going to remain rotten. So are we going to end up with any type of policies in place that's going to help Black Americans? That's all I motherfucking care about. Like, I really don't care about anything that happens to anybody else in this fucking country. I really don't fucking care. And there's a lot of people that feel that way about their particular group. So I just don't think that there's any coming together. I just don't think that's possible. Follow-up video, personality versus politics and going back to normal in the United States. Let me know what you guys think about that as we head into this last little bit of time before Super Tuesday. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. There will be related videos and playlists in the description box, as there always are. I have been on this channel 6 years. It will be 7 years next year. I've probably talked about something you want to ask me about, because there's been a lot of new subscribers that have been asking about things that I've talked about like 5 years ago. So please look. Peace.